Happy Friday, Messiah, Texas. It's time for another 5-Minute Friday, and today we are in Psalm 49. Hear this, all peoples. Listen, all inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth will speak wisdom, and the meditation of my heart will be understanding. I will incline my ear to a proverb. I will express my riddle on the harp. Why should I fear in days of adversity, when the injustice of those who betray me surrounds me, those who trust in their wealth and boast in the abundance of their riches? No one can by any means redeem another or give God a ransom for him. For the redemption of his soul is priceless, and he should cease imagining forever, that he might live on eternally, that he might not undergo decay. For he sees that even wise people die. The foolish and the stupid alike perish and leave their wealth to others. Their inner thought is that their houses are forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They have named their lands after their own names, but man in his splendor will not endure. He is like the animals that perish. This is the way of those who are foolish, and of those after them who approve their words. Selah. Like sheep, they sink down to Sheol. Death will be their shepherd, and the upright will rule over them in the morning. And their form shall be for Sheol to consume, so that they have no lofty home. But God will redeem my soul from the power of Sheol, for he will receive me. Selah. Do not be afraid when a person becomes rich, when the splendor of his house is increased, for when he dies he will take nothing with him. His wealth will not descend after him. Though while he lives he congratulates himself, and though people praise you when you do well for yourself, he will go to the generation of his fathers. They will never see the light. Mankind in its splendor, yet without understanding, is like the animals that perish. So Psalm 49 is addressing two groups of people. The poor, who trust in God and should not fear, and the wealthy, who trust in their wealth and should fear, but don't. And so it's interesting because while being wealthy and having money is not a bad thing, we even learn in the New Testament that spiritual gifts, one of the spiritual gifts is giving. And so that is obviously something you will have to have some money for. It doesn't mean that that is a bad thing. Having money is not a bad thing, but when you put your trust in your money and what you can buy, that is where it gets dangerous. Because after everything's said and done, you can't take your riches with you. You cannot take them to the grave. Material possessions decay, and it says here that no one can by any means redeem another or give God a ransom for him, for the redemption of his soul is priceless. So no amount of money, no amount of material possessions, no amount of lands or places that you name after yourself can ever purchase eternity with God. And so it's saying, do not trust in those things. Those are not what is important. Trusting in God is important. So whether you're rich or poor, as long as you are trusting in God and not in material possessions and not in worldly success, as long as you are not putting your trust and your faith in those things, then you will be in a good place, in a place of wisdom and true faith and understanding in who our Lord is. And so I'll leave you with this. While being rich and having material possessions is not a bad thing, it's important that we are not allowing those things to define who we are, and we are only allowing God to define who we are. And to not fear when those around us become successful. Here it's talking about do not be afraid when a person becomes rich, because oftentimes what that meant is when someone had a lot of money, they also had a lot of power. And so they then were able to, tell people what to do and gain all of this power and sometimes fame. And it's saying, don't worry about those things. Don't put your trust in that. Don't seek after these people and their wealth and try to be like them. God will provide. And so I hope this psalm blesses you and that it helps you to reflect inwardly in what really matters. And that's, are we using what has been given to us to glorify God, or are we using the resources around us to glorify ourselves? And that includes not just money and possessions, but our talents, our gifts and our talents that the Lord has given us. So I hope this psalm has blessed you. I hope you have a restful Shabbat. And don't forget, you have friends at Messiah, Texas.